But she did manage to sit down and immediately start talking the same amount of trash as her husband. So I do feel at home now. The great, the incomparable Erika Donald joining us in studio on Fox Across America, and the crowd goes banana. I mean, listen to that. That's a heck of an intro.
What a welcome.
That was a big deal. The pyrotechnics just went off. We released doves. It matters.
I'm feeling it.
Stop it. You better. I am. Because you want to know why this is exciting for me? The last time I had an attempted conversation with you, we were in the kitchen of a comedy club.
That's right.
Like dishes were clanging. Things were going on.
It was so authentic, though.
That was real, though. It was real showbiz that you and Byron got, like in the movie Goodfellas, when they go to the Copacabana. They let him in through the kitchen. That's what, like, if you're like a made guy, you go in through the kitchen. You guys got the Goodfellas treatment at a venue that wasn't quite the Copacabana, but it was an amazing comedy club, was it not?
Off the Hook Comedy Club.
Hey,
Shout
girl,
out.
right down in Naples. They run a phenomenal club. You know what I didn't know, and this is why you guys are always in such a good mood. Your district, and I know you live down there, is just the nicest place.
We have the best district in the country.
It's
Southwest Florida, right there on the Gulf of America.
Thank you.
Most beautiful sunsets you've ever seen.
I love Gulf of America because I was like, this is the most genius thing Trump's ever done. If you want to cut border crossings, just move the border.
That's a great idea.
I'm just going to lower it to there. No, I'm kidding, but I love the ambition of Gulf of America, and it's something we were talking about off the air. There's like a collective optimism right now, and I think what it really boils down to is we feel like for the first time in a long time, the country, like the compass is correct. Like we're going after the correct things. Do you feel that way, given all your background in education and everything else?
Well, I absolutely do. And I feel it from the community as well, from everyone that I encounter, no matter where they are or their political persuasion. It's the golden age of America, as Trump has been saying. There's going to be economic prosperity like we haven't seen, of course, for the past 4 years. There's going to be changes in education, to your point, fixing of a lot of these things that have been dividing us and bringing us down, the DEI, anti-meritocracy policies. And we're going to see not only job growth, but people being able to live more comfortably, more, not just because they're going to have more money in their pockets, but they're going to be safer. Yeah. Look at what's happening around the world as President Trump, who really is acting president right now. You have all of these world leaders coming to Mar-a-Lago and the peace agreement that he's brokering in the Middle East. You know, we're all going to be safer. Law and order returns. The golden age of America is here. Everyone is feeling it across the board.
Erika Donald's in studio, fired up. Like very optimistic. I mean, you're speaking like a woman who's already found her dress for the inauguration.
All 5 of them.
You got a lot of work to do. It's going to be like a Madonna concert where you change for every song? Is that what we got ourselves into?
I think that's what we're doing. We've got a couple of balls every night. We've got lunches and brunches. I'm speaking at Moms for Liberty on Sunday, at PragerU. You know, we've got Linda McMahon making appearances as well, our hopefully soon to be education secretary. It's going to just be a lot of celebration. Yeah. And we've got some surprise appearances now. We hear Mark Zuckerberg is going to be there. Other, you know, Meta, Joel Kaplan, the new Meta head of global affairs. I think, to your point earlier about the collective optimism, even those who were not historically on Trump's side, especially if they're in business in America, they see the writing on the wall. This is going to be good for us all. Yeah, that's a great point. Is that people are looking at this, whether they were Republican or Democrat, feeling like the government's just at the very least going to get out of the way, which was a big problem of the last 4 years. So for that, it is. It's like Biden leaving is this weird addition by subtraction. But it was so funny because, like, last night Biden was giving this farewell address. But he is a guy that has legitimately said farewell every time there was a crisis. He went to the beach. They're like, hey, we got a thing. Well, farewell. I'm going over here. Going to build a sandcastle. And we were always seeing those pictures. And it was like, we were almost watching last night. I compare it to Comic-Con. You know, there's a festival where if you like Star Wars, you go dress up as a stormtrooper, and it's Comic-Con. Oh, yeah, I go to plenty of those. This was a Comic-Con presidency. It was like the guy would dress up as president once in a while. That's right. And we were like, oh. Take off his beach trunks. Put on his suit.
It was a crazy. It's funny. I have seen probably more shirtless pictures of Joe Biden than anyone in history.
Definitely
Isn't that crazy?
Any president in history. His farewell address last night was really disappointing. I mean, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to be so negative and so divisive. He could have been magnanimous. You know, he could have had anticipating this inauguration, this tradition of America and the thing that they say they care most about, the peaceful transition of power. And instead, he goes on attacking the wealthy in this country, the most successful in this country. He attacks big tech. And then he says the most ironic thing that social media has given up on fact checking. That had to have been the craziest thing that he could have possibly said. You mean fact checking as you define it, where the government tells them what to delete and suppress in free speech? I mean, that was just so ridiculous.
But by when he said we're living in a dangerous world, he literally meant like him and his party. Like, we're in a dangerous world here. So we can't censor away opinion anymore.
Not as dangerous as it was before he dropped out of the presidential race, but certainly, yes, dangerous.
That was my favorite. Erika Donald is in the house. She's the founder of Optima Ed. The crowd's pretty pumped up about it. All right, well, we have you here now, and we can get some fun dirt out of you. When Byron, and you're the third Donald's that I've actually interviewed. Your son famously crashed when we were down, I believe, at like CPAC or something, just right through security.
Yeah, youngest of three boys. You can't stop him.
No, and you can't. And I understand how that works. I applaud the ambition. You know what I mean? Why wait to get booked on a show?
He's going to take your job someday.
But my son says that. I hope he does. I would love to go just be a fat stage dad, just call into the show and criticize things.
Yeah,
and,
shout out to Mason Donald.
Mason Donald's a legend on this show. He did 2 breaks. He didn't just crash the show. He did 2 breaks. That matters. But you are the third Donald's to be on the show. Okay, when Byron plays music at home, I play a lot of music. When Byron plays music at home, is it well received by the audience, or do the kids not like Dad's music? These are things I just want to know as a parent.
The kids are 100% on Dad's side when it comes to taste in music.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have 3 boys. They're 21, 17, and 13. They all want to be just like Dad.
Yeah.
You know, Mom is the party pooper. I have good taste in music. I like a lot of variety.
Okay.
But I have to keep all of these boys in line.
Fair.
All 4 of them.
And you are outnumbered in that regard.
Yes.
Do they kind of gang up on you? Because my wife is only 2 of us and 1 of her, but it really feels like 10 to 1.
They definitely do. I know you think I'm cool, Jimmy, but no one in my house thinks I'm cool. And I am kind of a nerd, just to be honest. I'm a CPA. I'm a policy wonk. I like to work very hard. And, maybe I don't have great taste in music. I'm not sure. It's just not my thing. But Byron is definitely the cooler of the 2 of us.
We've got a concession. The Fox News decision desk can call the Donald's house for Byron. Erika, the
coolness.
Losing all the swing states.
It's a category.
You win in other categories.
That's right. I have other talents.
Can you outcook him?
I absolutely can outcook him.
All right, that matters.
Byron doesn't cook except for he does do steak very well.
Oh, come on now.
He's in charge of the meat when it comes to holidays.
Fair.
Holiday meat is Byron's forte.
But he's the big game chef. That matters.
That is absolutely.
The big game chef.
Yes, I give that to him 100%. But everything else, every weeknight meal, weekend meal, holiday side dish, that's me.
Okay.
And I've got him beat by far.
Fair. Okay, but that makes you sound like the offensive line, and he's like the skill position player in that when the game's on the line. We are giving him the ball. Now, this matters because in my house, this is interesting. So my wife's a very good cook. But during COVID, I had nothing to do but this radio show and drink Michter's whiskey. That's all I had to do. So I opened up Steve Ducey's a Fox and Friends anchor here at Fox. Everybody knows him. He has all these cookbooks come out. And I basically took like 5 of his recipes. Now, he knows I did this. I kind of made them my own, like kind of tweaked them a little bit. And I can cook 5 things, though. Like I'm an actual Michelin chef. Like I can't make a 6th thing. I can't even like microwave a hot dog. But if I were to cook any of those other 5 things, you'd be like, you missed your calling in life. This man is a chef. But it's not true. But the point is, if you have a big game dish, as Byron does, big game Byron, as I do, that matters. It goes a long way. So I'm trying to issue my own verdict. You know, we called the decision desk for Byron on food. I might have to give him food still, even though you have more versatility, because the big events matter.
Listen, I could do the big events.
Okay.
I let him do them, Jimmy.
Okay, fair.
I let him do them. So don't give it to him. He gets music. I already gave him music
You
and
did.
cool,
You
okay?
did. You did.
Don't give him my cooking.
All right, give me
because I
this.
do love to cook. I'm Italian. I make really good Italian food as well.
Yeah, you do.
So
Yeah, you do.
don't give it away.
Italian food goes a long way. It's so funny. Like my wife and I are together like 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're going on 22 years married
Isn't it
in
amazing?
March. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like the whole time goes so fast. But we always laugh because we're legitimately together 19 years longer than either of us thought it would last. like my wife and I knew we were going to get married the night we met. We didn't say anything about being happy. We just knew like this was a thing that was going to happen. But it's happened well. And I bring it up.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. But I bring it up because on a serious level, it's like there is a thing in this country a lot of people neglect in all the class warfare and identity politics. family privilege is a thing. Like if you come from a great family, that's a big advantage that a lot of people don't have. And when you model that in the public eye, like is something I think America needs to lean into more. Is people like us are successful, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have successful families.
100%. It's something that we were really passionate about giving our children. My husband and I both came from broken homes, single moms, really didn't have anyone at home showing us what a good marriage looks like. And we've had to struggle through ourselves and figure it out. There's no blueprint for it. And I don't care how many marriage books you read. It's difficult to be married for 20 years. You've got to really stick it out. You've got to be a team. You've got to work together, and, you got to get through some things. And so we're always mentoring and encouraging other couples, no matter how hard it gets, you stick together because it is the best gift that you can give to your children.
That's a great point. See, Erika Donalds, don't sleep on it, man. She gets things done. She can't cook. She listens to bad music. She'll save your family.
Listen, you need some education policy. I can help you with that.
So give me this. Let's talk education policy, which has probably never happened in the history of this show. I mean, I went to community college and majored in Nintendo. But you know what? I save the princess every time. So give me that. But when it comes to education policy, and I think Florida's done a great job on this, is they've prioritized education instead of, ideology. And would you consider that to be the biggest challenge going forward, is to get the focus back onto the actual learning curriculum as opposed to the ideology?
In some ways, yes, but I think there's a bigger issue than that, Jimmy, that you could probably agree with. I actually served on the school board, and that's how I got into education. I call it my questionable life decision. I was in investment management for 20 years before that. But I discovered through that the system is entirely broken. Yes, there's a curriculum crisis. Yes, there's a teacher preparation crisis. But that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that we have a monopoly.
Yeah.
And monopolies do what they do. They don't serve their customers very well, and they don't serve students and parents very well. And so my passion is around expanding school choice, giving parents the ability to vote with their feet, because we know that the free market and competition actually increases quality for everyone and access for everyone. And that's what Florida is doing really the best, in my opinion, in expanding universal school choice. But we need to see that in more states around the country. And frankly, even some things federally that Trump has promised to do, we may see some expansion of school choice through that as well.
That I think a lot of people would get behind, because to that point, like especially here in New York and in a lot of major cities around the country, kids are trapped in failing schools, and the Democrats are what's in the way of school choice. And that's a big challenge.
Yeah, the Democrats and the teachers unions and others that are fighting against parents' ability to move. And, when I got involved in this about 15 years ago, most parents who wanted to leave the school was because it was a failing school, was because of academic performance. Today, it's very different. Parents are talking about safety, and they're talking about the values that are being taught in those schools that do not align with their values at home. And I believe that parents should be able to leave a school for any reason, and they should be able to choose a school that not only is academically performing well, but also aligns with the values that they espouse.
Yeah, that matters. And I think that's the biggest thing as a parent, is you actually do want some say in steering this thing. We're talking to Erika Donalds in studio. This reminds me of, this is so funny. In the beginning of Pulp Fiction, when the guy has to take out Marcellus Wallace's wife, like Travolta's got to take Uma Thurman out to Jackrabbit Slims because Marcellus is like fixing a boxing match. Hopefully you don't pull an Uma Thurman. she kind of OD. It's a whole to-do. We got to keep you in check here. Give me one more question then, because we've done a lot of serious, we've done a lot of silly. But when it comes to the inauguration, okay, we've been having I actually had this talk with Byron last week and Kat Kamek, both so silly. It's like we're getting ready to have like the wildest party night in the history of this country for a guy who drinks Diet Coke.
That's right.
Seeing as Trump doesn't drink, do we owe him a Diet Coke infused cocktail? Sometimes you make a special cocktail for an occasion.
Listen, I don't think he would drink it.
Oh, he won't drink it. I'm saying,
guy.
No, not him. I love when Trump goes.
Oh, it's for all of us to drink.
Do the rest of you do that, or like meet him halfway in the Diet Coke?
Listen, good luck with that at one of these balls, passing out Diet Coke cocktails. I've been around these people. They're not drinking Diet Coke in their cocktails, just like you don't, Jimmy. You wouldn't even drink it. You're bringing it up, and you wouldn't even drink a Diet Coke cocktail on behalf of President Trump.
You could give me a bourbon and Diet Coke. I mean, I usually drink it straight, but I'd take like a topper. A topper
of Diet Coke.
Of all the issues you've conceded, okay, you stand your ground on cocktail mixing, and that's. And
I am a Diet Coke drinker for life. I love Diet Coke. It's my favorite sodas. Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, but I definitely don't drink it in my cocktails.
Erika Donalds is hardcore. A lot of people don't know that. You actually lived up to your billing as Marcellus Wallace's wife in other ways. This was amazing. Come back and do it again. I know you just texted your publicist that she's fired for booking you on the show. But do it again, would you?
I'm always happy to be with you, Jimmy. You're the best.
You stop it. You're buttering me up. The great Erika Donald.
Get her out.